Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make these retro t-shirt designs. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a new file. So you're going to go to File and select New. Default unit for measurements in Illustrator, as you know, is points. We're going to drop down and change that to inches so you can get an idea of your t-shirt design. I highly recommend taking a measuring tape and measuring out your t-shirt to see what type of size shirt that you like. I'm just going to do just a really regular 5x5 artboard for now and create that. A lot of programs, if you're using a vinyl cutter for your t-shirt design, will have you separately size that in the program software. So since this is being created in vector, it really doesn't matter a whole lot about the size, but just for now, I'll do a 5x5 artboard. The next thing we're going to do is use your type tool and click on here, and I'm just going to type mental health matters, which it does. So one thing to note here, if you choose words that are not roughly the same size, it just doesn't look right. Now you can adjust the kerning, the tracking and leading over in your character panel, and I highly recommend using those tools if you don't know how. But at the end of the day, if the size just isn't lining up, it's just not going to line up. So I highly recommend choosing some words that kind of look correct. They're about the same width. So clicking that, the next thing you want to do is choose your right font. Font is everything. The one that I'm going to use, just because I'm familiar with it, is this Bellow Caps Pro. I love that font. Don't know why, but I think it's just a fun, bubbly font. So we're going to resize it. I think it kind of plays into that retro look. Now, the letters to me are too far stretched apart. So we are going to adjust the leading. We're going to select all of the text, and then over in your character panel, leading. I know leading is the right way to say this, but I always say leading. So just bump that down a little bit so that you're reducing the space between your lines of text. That's what that does. Now, the next thing you're going to do is adjust the tracking. So the tracking, we're just going to use this bottom word as a measurement for what we're doing with the top two words. So I'm going to select my top two words and then adjust my tracking up. So we're just stretching out these words. And then I'm actually going to reduce matters a little bit. We're just going to keep playing with that until all of this looks like it's about lined up. Now, you don't have to do this. I just think it looks a lot better, a lot more intentional if the words line up like that. So now we have our text. There it is. Voila. So the next thing you're going to do is go up to Object, go down to Envelope Distort, and then we're going to do Make with Warp. So I already have wave selected. The automatic thing is arc. It looks like that. And then you're going to go down here, flag. A lot of people do the flag. You can play around with these warp distortions. The wave is the one that I like. I like that it looks boxy around the letters and then the wave through the middle. Personally, I just really like that. And then you can adjust the bend by playing with this slider if you want it to be dramatic or just slight. I think that looks pretty cool. So then I'm going to go with OK. Now, once you have this selected, you can resize it. The one thing here is it is not vectorized yet. So the way you can tell something is vectorized, if you go up to View in Illustrator and click Outline, whatever lines that you see in here, these are the lines that are going to be cut in your vector or your vinyl cutter. So I'm going to go back to Preview on CPU. CPU is computer processing unit. GPU is graphics processing unit. Doesn't really matter. Both of them look the same. So now we're previewing on CPU. So what we're going to do, another thing you'll notice is if you don't do what I'm about to show you, the colors won't change. So it doesn't matter what you do, this is going to stay in grayscale. It will not let you adjust these colors. So the way that we fix that is we're going to go up to Object and click Expand. We're going to do Object Fill. And now it's taking each of these letters and filled it in. So it's no longer a warp. It's vectorized your file. So we're going to go up to View, Outline, and there you'll see those are your clean lines that are going to come up on your vinyl cutter. Now, we know that if you are using a vinyl cutter, it really doesn't matter what color this is. It matters what color vinyl that you're putting in. But just to play with it, let's do some colors. So I'm horrible at picking colors. So I got this color palette over here I'm going to pull from. And I just copied and pasted that right into Illustrator. And then I'm going to sample my colors. This is what I always do because, like I said, I'm so bad at picking colors. So I just got a retro color palette. Now I want to change these words. So right now they're all grouped together. So we're going to go in your properties panel and select ungroup, to ungroup the letters. Now they'll be individually editable. So if I wanted to take that M and move it out there, I could. I could also use my direct selection tool and distort something if I really wanted to play with it. I don't. So I'm going to use my selection tool. I'm going to select the top word, which is mental. Then I am going to use my eyedropper tool and click one of these colors. Then I'm going to do the same thing with health. Oh, missed one. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with health and select a color with that one. And then the last one, matters. I think I'm going to keep it that dark color. I like that. So there we go. Mental health matters. That will just give you an idea of what your design will look like. Make sure if you're resizing it, you hold down Shift to maintain the proportions. If you don't, you'll do what I just did, which is distorting it all goofy, which maybe that's a look. Maybe you want to try it. But I like my size like that. So the next thing I want to show you how to do is to make a smiley face. So we are going to pop over and I'm just going to get a file off of the internet. If you don't know how to find royalty-free images on Google, it's really easy. I will put a link in this video right here. So I'm going to copy and paste a smiley face. Now, smiley faces are really easy to make in Illustrator, but no matter what I do, the smiley faces look awful. So I'm just going to steal my smiley face. I'm going to click this link button over here and then just drop down this width of my smiley face so it's a more reasonable proportion. Holding Shift, pulling in my edges. Okay, there's the smiley face that I'm working with. So first thing I'm going to do is an image trace. This is going to vectorize that image. If you don't know how to vectorize an image, I will put a link to a video so you can learn how to do that. I'm going to quickly just choose, let's do 6 colors and click expand. One really cool thing to do, I'm going to undo real quick. One really cool thing that you can also do is go up into your panels, and then open up the image trace panel. And this gives you a lot of cool things that you can do. So in your advanced settings, so instead of just doing a basic preset, which is what I did, 3 colors, we can do 3 colors, but then under advanced, we can select to ignore a certain color, which is fun. So we're going to do ignore white, and then we'll click expand over here. So I didn't have any white in the background, so that didn't help. But if I did have white in the background, it would have ignored it, which would have been really cool. So I'll have to show you that another time. So what we're going to do is we are going to ungroup this smiley face first. Then I'm going to make sure it's ungrouped. Now I have all these little picture elements available to me. So first thing I'm going to do is get rid of this black shape around the background. Then, because this doesn't really have a good stroke to it, a good outline, I'm going to give it a stroke. So I'm going to flip these colors and then change my stroke color by double clicking on it and changing it to black. So there we have my stroke and my smiley face, which that is a good looking smiley face. So the next thing we need to do, I want to show you something else. So if I go to view and click outline, I want you to see that this smiley face, I have some junk right here I need to get rid of. That's one thing you can see. But this smiley face, ooh, I don't like that. So all of this like clutter over here, these are individual cuts that will be made in your vinyl, which will be super annoying if you're using a vinyl cutter. So you definitely want to clean all that up. I don't know what is going on. That's super weird, but I'm going to get rid of all this junk over here. Get rid of all this garbage. And I'll bring my smiley face back. All right, so there you have your smiley face. Now, if I were to cut this, now I can see only these lines would be on the vinyl cutter. And these are vector. They can be resized without loss of quality. Everything looks pretty good. Going back to previewing on my CPU. So now I got this smiley face guy right here. I am going to fill in these with black. So I know there must have been a clipping mask on it. Okay, so I'm going to fill these in with black. There you go. There's my smiley face guy. Now, what I want to do is create text that wraps around this smiley face. You'll see that in a lot of these trendy t-shirt designs, they have text going around the top and around the bottom. So the first thing we want to do is if I just click on this text tool and do type on a path, I can do that, but it's going to make my smiley face outline disappear, and I don't want that. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my ellipse tool, which is right over here. So once you have the center icon showing, you're going to click, hold down Alt, click, and expand outward to match the size of your circle. So Alt makes it drag from center. If you don't hold down Alt, it will look kind of goofy. But once you get the circle the size that you want, you're going to release it. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to flip the foreground and background colors so that it has a stroke that's black. I'm going to expand it just a little bit. Going to line that up just a little bit better. Now it looks pretty good. I am going to make a copy of it because I'm going to need one of these strokes for the top line of text and one stroke for the bottom. So since I just got that perfect, I'm going to hold on Alt and make a copy of it. How many of these do I have now? There we go. Too many. Delete one. Okay, so I have this one right here. I'm just going to move it over here because it's a little bit easier. I'm going to go to my type on a path tool and then just click. And I'm going to write love God because I love God. Then I'm going to rotate this and I want to bring up the text until I find it that it's the right size. And then I will move it, kind of rotate it over this piece. So we wrote love God at the top. And then at the bottom, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to do the same thing again, type on the path, and I'm going to write love people. And so this part is tricky and it can be very aggravating. So I'm going to just show you an easy way to flip the text so that it's inside the circle. So there are two edges to the circle. We have this side that has the double blue line, and then we have this side that has the single blue line. You want to click the side that has the side that has the single blue line and drag it into your circle. All right, so we have this, but it's not going, because the circle is the same size, it's actually showing on the inside. So I am going to resize this a little bit. And I have it unlinked on the side so that I can distort the text a little bit. I'm not loving this, guys. All right. It is not perfect. Someone in the comments is going to have to tell me, how do you do this perfectly? I know there's a command for it. There's always a command for something. Just got to learn them all. So I don't love that, but we're going to leave it there for a little bit. I'm sure there's a way to auto align it. Now I can do this and then make sure they're aligned in the properties panel. I threw off the smiley face's eyes. That was weird. Okay. I'm going to play with that and I'm going to make it look good in my thumbnail, but I'm not going to waste time on this video. So right now we have this little love God, love people person, and you can make the text bigger or smaller on that. We could, again, go back and change the color. But one thing I want to show you before we move on is if we go to view and then outline, look at all these lines that are on there. You don't want that many cuts on your vinyl cutter, or you don't want that. That'll be part of your vectorized design, and you don't want that either. So we're going to go back, and everything we just did, we need to go Object and click Expand for both of the text items. All right. Oh, maybe I can change it now. Oh, that's a little bit easier. Oh, that's better. That is looking better, but I know there was a way to auto align that somewhere. Someone's going to show me that. Someone tell me in the comments how I could auto align that better. Okay. So, I mean, that looks pretty close at this point. So we're going to go to this top one and we're going to change it to yellow. We could also do like an every other letter type of color palette, but this would look good to me. I'm thinking like on a shirt pocket. The smiley face would be on the pocket, and then maybe mental health matters on the back. something like that. So there you go. I just showed you how to make a wavy design and how to flip the smiley face letters back and forth. So there we did it. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next time, and have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe.